Good evening and welcome to Poland Daily. I'm Nicholas Richardson and this is the news. The former Prime Minister of Poland, Donald Tusk, testified today in front of the Commission investigating irregularities in value-added tax collection during the years 2007 to 2015, the period of the Civic Platform government, which was headed by Tusk until 2014. During the hearing, there were many clashes between the witness and the members of the Commission.
Przesłuchanie byłego premiera przebiegło w dość napiętej...
The atmosphere at the hearing of the former Prime Minister of Poland, Donald Tusk, was tense. Tusk claimed that most of the questions asked by the Commission were based on untruths. He refused to answer many of them. There were many conflicts between members of the Commission and the witness. The head of the VAT Investigation Commission, Marcin Horała, said that Tusk's statements concerned the ruling Law and Justice Party, which had nothing to do with the questions. On the other hand, Tusk accused the Commission of being politically motivated.
Takich słownych przepychanek pomiędzy Tuskiem a członkami Komisji Prawa i Sprawiedliwości.
Więc mam wrażenie, że jest to raczej próba wdrukowania.
I think that the Commission was trying to advance a thesis that millions of zloty disappeared and that I am the main suspect.
Czyli jak zawsze Tusk.
Podsumowując zeznanie pana premiera Tuska,
To sum up the hearing of Donald Tusk, he wasn't in charge of anything. Asked why it took 2 years to close the trade gap, even though the bill was ready to enter into force, he simply answered that he did not know. He refused to answer most of the questions, and when he did, he said that he didn't know, or he attacked the Law and Justice Party.
na premiera.
Pierwotnie przesłuchanie Donalda Tuska miało odbyć się...
The hearing of the former Prime Minister of Poland, Donald Tusk, was supposed to take place at the end of May, but Tusk said that he was unable to attend because of his duties.
Nie może się stawić.
Jarosław Kaczyński made an appearance during a rally of the clubs of the Gazeta Polska weekly magazine. The Law and Justice Party leader said that the rebuilding of Poland, which will allow the country to capitalise on all the opportunities before it, is a great endeavour which will take many years.
That's the thing about democracy. Elections come around every couple of years, 4 in the case of Poland. That is when the nation verifies the work done by the government. This upcoming verification is going to touch on our policies in the context of a political battle which currently is of a very specific nature in Poland. The total opposition is spreading all sorts of lies to the society with regards to reality. A big chunk of our nation accepts these lies. We will have to combat that false rhetoric, and this is likely to be the main theme of this upcoming campaign. Because if society upholds the notion that, according to the recent polls, the Law and Justice Party should be allowed to rule Poland for at least an additional term in office, then there are no doubts that we will win these elections. However, what is most important is that the Polish nation is not being lied to.
Another session of the Education Roundtable has been held with both the Prime Minister of Poland, Mateusz Morawiecki, and the new Minister of Education, Dariusz Piontkowski, taking part. Teachers, parents and students also participated in the meeting.
The Education Roundtable touched on the subjects of changes in teachers' working hours, their salaries, changes in teaching methods, school safety, and changes in the local government competences.
We are inviting the trade unions who haven't accepted our invitation yet. The Minister of Education, Dariusz Piontkowski, will introduce the first system changes in a few weeks.
This was the first session of the Education Roundtable in which the new Minister of Education, Dariusz Piontkowski, participated. He claimed that schools don't need a revolution, but an improvement to the changes that have been introduced.
We hear your demands. We have introduced many of them. For me, the Education Roundtable is a chance to hear the teachers' views.
Despite the fact that many think that the Education Roundtable is unnecessary and won't change anything, the teachers have a different opinion. It's not that teachers are not being appreciated. They are, however, that does not go hand in hand with the level of their salaries. I think we need many years to initiate a change, but these roundtable talks are a good sign, a sign that a change might come. According to the parents present at the roundtable talks, much depends on whether their suggestions will be implemented or not.
We want our home to be a place where our children can go over their material and not study it from scratch. That is why cooperation with the teachers is so important. We would like to know what we could do in order to show support at home, not be a replacement for teachers. We also don't want our children to have to be tutored outside of school.
Students brought their own suggestions.
Zależy nam najbardziej, abyśmy my, jako
We want less pressure to be put on the tests. We want more practical education instead of tests which force us to answer questions according to an answer key.
żebyśmy je wykorzystali w przyszłym życiu.
This was the final roundtable talks before the summer holidays. Nevertheless, as the Prime Minister stated before, the work on the changes in the Ministry of Education is underway and is to be presented by its head, Dariusz Piątkowski.
Around 1,000 residents of the Bosnian border cities of Bihać and Velika Kladuša have gathered in Bihać to protest against the government's handling of the migration crisis. Thousands of migrants from Africa and Asia are sleeping rough in the area as they try to reach Western Europe via neighbouring Croatia. Apart from sanitation issues, the protesters claim that the desperate migrants are making residents feel unsafe in their own communities.
Bosnia was spared the big migrant wave of 2015, but the number of migrants trying to pass through the country has increased in recent years. 25,000 migrants crossed the country in 2018, and more than 9,000 have made the same journey so far this year.
Things which have been happening here recently have really crossed all lines, and it's time for the authorities to begin resolving the migrant crisis and to help the cities of Bihać and Velika Kladuša.
More than 6,000 migrants are currently stuck in the small border cities of Bihać and Velika Kladuša, but only 3,500 of them are housed in 4 transit centers, with thousands sleeping in parks and abandoned buildings. The other day, they entered a man's house while he was in the other room watching a game on TV. 20,000 marks, or around $11,000, were stolen. These are the things we have to fear now, whether someone will break into our house or not. Many residents say Bosnia's national government should step in, as the local authorities are no longer capable of dealing with the situation themselves.
The people of this city did everything they could. Now this should really be under the state jurisdiction, but the state turns its head away from us, and we simply can't go on like this.
Local police raided several houses in which nearly 300 migrants were accommodated and moved them to tents on a former garbage dump outside the town. The UN has criticized the move, saying the site poses a health risk and is located close to areas with landmines left over from the Yugoslav war. As new arrivals to the border area increase during the summer, the situation in northwestern Bosnia is likely to deteriorate even further in the coming months.
That's the news. Thank you for watching. Stay with us for the weather, Poland Daily Business and more programmes. But from me, it's have a good night and a better tomorrow.